Hey, I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. Welcome to the channel. We're gonna go right into it. Uh, as you saw from the top, there was some clips. That was fun. I've been playing for about 2 weeks. I mean, since the league launch. And first thing, I'm gonna get this right out of just right out of the way. The league mechanics sucked. I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna argue about it. It's opinionated. I think it really sucked. The idea behind the mechanic was very similar to like Delirium plus like a Rift from like Diablo, but it just didn't seem to hit. I don't know what it was, or I do know what it was. What am I talking about? I know exactly what it was. There's no agency over the way it flows. So number one, none of the pets work except for the league pets. So you have to have the league pets. But as I've seen through a lot of people that have come into my channel, and I've seen it all over the place, the pets barely do anything and barely ever procs, which is really just doubles your loot. But that being said, uh, otherwise you don't really get much out of it. Now, a couple of those clips at the beginning did show some pretty good drops, sure, but that was super rare. Over 2 weeks, I think my average is like 3 FE from the league mechanic. The biggest problem, and one of the things they tried to alleviate at least a little bit at the beginning, was it's only 4 floors. So basically, what happens is you find a door, you go through it, and then it turns the map into a different realm, almost like a Silent Hill fog over it or whatever. I don't know. I don't know a better comparison, but it just changes the visuals of the map. And then you run through the map and you can collect some things to extend time, and you have a certain amount of time. You want to kill as much as you can, and then if you fill up the bar, it gives you a bonus like increased drop rate or rarity or what have you. What ends up happening is at the end of the timer, a door opens and you go through it and you go to floor two. You can only go up to floor four, and then there's this like basically meat sponge, nothing special boss. The problem is the door going to the next stage versus just exiting is just random. It's just an RNG. You have zero uh you have zero control over it. No agency over it whatsoever. It doesn't matter how many mobs. I've cleared the entire map and collected every single thing and still just exit door. One thing they did to try to help with that was they made the second floor 100%. But it just, I don't think it's enough. Uh, I wish there was more mechanic in the maps themselves that allowed you to carry over into the next. Or maybe, what about a longer timer, like a much longer timer that you can extend with the stuff in the maps, and you want to leave before the timer expires because it carries over, something like that. But they didn't do that. You get to floor two, and then you're done with the run almost every single time. It's super ridiculous. Um, Other than that, everything else is still Torchlight and Infinite. If you like anything else, if you like all the old mechanics, any of that stuff, a lot of people have been doing the carjack mechanic, the outlaw mechanic, which was last season. A lot of people are doing Oasis, the Cube, all sorts of things are still fun. It's just I think this was a big miss on the current league mechanic. I'm gonna excuse me. I'm gonna go through my character and stuff like that. There's not much to it. I didn't really come up with anything on this character. I've been trying to like piecemeal it together and come up with things. The problem was I've never played this character whatsoever. I had no idea how this character worked or anything like that. Um, and I looked up a guy named Gooba03. Dude has been playing this character for a long time, so I kind of based a lot of what I did off of him. So I there's no build guide here. It's not original. So I don't want you guys to think that I did another build like the last two leagues or what have you. So I'm just gonna show you what I've done. Uh, this right here is the most ridiculous thing to try to corrupt. I don't understand why it's so rare. Um, I I hate to admit this. I got to a point of corrupting these helmets so much that I went beyond what this current helm costs by double. So I hit 42 corruptions, and this is the first one that actually hit 3 troops in map. The last corruption I did hit the troops, and it hit the physical as lightning, cold, and fire, what have you. That one down there, the really good mod down here, it hit those two, but it only gave me 2 minions. So this ended up being 194%, which is awesome. It's one of the highest you can get, and this was still fixed at 2, so it did nothing. Because the helm I had before that still had the higher percentage corruption anyway. So it just teased me, and it was real. That's a real feel bad. Um, this build does work though with just 1 minion, and if you guys don't realize, the reason that happens is if you if you're using this, it cuts the amount of minions in half. So your helm is 2. It always will be 1. It rounds up, so when you have a 3 on your helm, what'll happen is it'll be 1.5, and then it'll round up to 2. It basically, essentially doubles your damage at that point, for me, or even more than that, depending. Um, Either way, that is the build. I'll real quick go through. This is pretty much normal skills. This isn't. This is only a lot of damage because of this. That's it. The additional damage. That's the only reason this is better, because it doesn't do the other function of it. It doesn't do anything because we already summon the minions constantly anyway. We got servant life, which is a thing that they scale off of. We have the force field. This, of course, can go up to 100%. I have an 80%er. These are extremely expensive, depending on, well, whatever direction you go. I think 1,000 plus for a single gem is a bit ridiculous, and this was already like 500-600 or something like that. So to get 100% is going to cost you a lot. I think there's only a couple on the auction house, and they're like 5K. Um, I already showed you the mechanical modification, and then you got summon machine guard, dead silence, just increases the damage. This was about 300 for a max roll, but you do need to buy a bunch of them if you want to level this up to level 5. Uh, each time you level it up, it gives you an additional 4% damage. Um, uh, Force start, nothing special here. Blink, extra blinks. Timid, I have it with an activation, elite, and preparation on a rising edge. You could put a better prep there or what have you. I don't have that, but just another thing you can think of. I have fearless. This could be upgraded to a precise fearless. I have weapon amplification, radical order, and energy fortress. Radical order is one that can be changed out if you can get a pair of lone walker boots, which are very expensive. The rest of my gear, I have a. You don't need to worry about what stats are here, just that they're stats, because the skill, the ability, your hero trait scales off of all attributes, so it doesn't matter what's on there. Get whatever's the cheapest you can. Unfortunately, I hit a corruption that's not really helpful damage wise, but it does kind of balance me out for the time being. Light Hunter belt. I really want to get rid of this. I don't know a good way of doing so. I hate the fact that I never feel like I'm getting full energy shield back because of how slow it gets. It's terrible. Uh, but it's also a great belt. It's such a catch 22. I don't know what to say here. This is probably not the best corrupt or blending on it. I just put whatever. 2 movement speed rings. This one's not the best. I need to still upgrade the T1s on this one. This one here, I still need to hit T1 on 2 of them. My wands, let me get rid of the details here. My wands are doing pretty well. They need to be upgraded. That's expensive as hell. I haven't gotten to that point. Same thing with my other wand. This one's getting closer. Gloves are pretty good. I got one with a +4 max res on it, and then went until I got the 5% max res. This is pretty much what I would have on it. I think one thing I would change is getting rid of the percentage gear and go for this one at the bottom, 15 to 25% additional minion damage when you have 1 to 8 minions. This means you're gonna have to you're gonna have to use truth fossils, probably a lot, until you have the one that says 2. But then you can get that extra percentage additional damage. It's quite a lot. Wood embankment. This is great for early on with the highest of all stats. It helps you with your resistances. But I am slowly but surely trying to craft a new helm or new body armor. So we'll see what happens there. Same with the boots. You want to eventually replace these with lone walkers, but they're expensive. So anyway, moving on. I guess the only other thing to show you guys would be real quick. God of Machines. Everything's pretty normal here. You got orders. You got Mighty Guard. I'm using wands. If you were doing a two-hander, you'd go with isomorphic arms and then try to get Mighty Guard on like a slate or something like that, or vice versa, whatever the case may be. Machinist, I have Rally. Vanguard, I have Reflection. And Lich, I have Off the Beaten Track. If you can get a bunch of sealed mana cost reduction, you could switch it over to Indifference. One thing about this, if you can get a slate, possibly, you could get rid of, on one of these, you could do that as well. Statue of the God. This is something that I took from the Gooba 03. This is a great thing when you have a bunch of medium talents, like the 2 command. This is one that's set up fully for it. The Empower is not necessary, but the others are awesome. Here's another one that's set up. Minion life. It scales off of minion life, so this is really good. This is also a +2. This is my best best slate here. Then you got this one here, which is also a really good slate. This can be eventually, I think, phased out if you can get the things necessary to phase it out. I would say a really good pedigree would be the best option here. So that's it for that. I will say that I got to 1985. I probably can go higher now. I've dropped to 10. I was in the top 5 for a while. Every single person here almost is using the isomorphic and some big two-hander. In the Supreme Showdown, I am up to number 15. This one's a lot of mechanics that you have to learn, too. This isn't just a DPS race, because there's a lot of phasing. On here, I am number 6. City Defense, I barely ever touch that. I'll show you what the damage looks like. Another fun thing about this build is it's fully... You don't press buttons at all. Now, is that the best damage? Of course not. This build can go into the trillions. This can cap dummy. It's not even that far from capping dummy now. If I can get a couple pieces of essential gear, lone walkers I think would boost me up a lot more. Yeah, and there you go. There you have it. That's the build. That's what I've been doing. I hope you all liked the clips at the beginning of the video because that was fun. I'm going to continue playing this until probably next week when Path of Exile 1 comes out. And if you're looking to for a challenge on Path of Exile 1, go check out my other video. I made one about my Rogers challenge, and maybe some of y'all, it'll pique your interest, especially for a league that may end up being a big shakeup of all the metas and all the classes and ascendancies and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens there. Go follow me over on Twitch if you'd like. I'll be honest, I'm getting kind of irritated with Twitch. I may come over here and just start streaming on YouTube directly. You can see all my VODs. I have them uploaded from Twitch automatically to YouTube. Not automatically, but I just do it. So you can go check that out if you'd like. And yeah, hopefully your corruptions go way better than mine. Y'all